Since ancient times, humans have always faced the storms of life. Challenges, trials, and adversities come unbidden, sweeping away the small fragments of joy and happiness we manage to gather. Just as a great storm wipes out everything in its path, our hearts are easily stirred and disturbed. Yet, amidst the tempest, there is something untouchable by the storm: our mind and our response to the events that unfold. The teachings of the Buddha reveal that in the most difficult moments, maintaining calmness and not being carried away by the waves of negative emotions is achievable. We do not need to stop the storm, for it is a natural part of life's cycle, an inevitable occurrence. Instead, what matters is how we can remain serene and composed, facing the challenges with lightness and tranquility. Life is ever-changing, and one of the core principles of Buddhism that helps us understand its nature is the principle of impermanence. Everything is temporary, from joy to sorrow, from happiness to suffering. Like the story of the king and the ring inscribed with the words, "This too shall pass," we learn not to cling to anything, for everything is subject to change. By understanding that nothing is eternal, we learn to let go and move gently through life's trials. Mindfulness is an effective tool that helps us stay aware in every moment. Through the story of the Buddha encountering the anger of a man, we see that calmness, refraining from reacting to negative emotions, is the key to overcoming all troubles. When we focus on the present, without being trapped in the past or anxious about the future, we find peace in every breath. Compassion is a light that illuminates the soul, allowing us to view life with a forgiving and understanding eye. Through the story of the farmer and the successive events that occurred, we realize that life holds no absolute good or bad. It is how we perceive and respond to these events that shapes our reality. Compassion not only connects us with others but also fosters a positive, loving spirit within us. When we integrate these precious lessons, they form a comprehensive guide to living, helping us maintain calmness and positivity in all situations. It is not enough to merely understand these teachings theoretically, the crucial part is to practice them daily. Each time we face difficulty, remember that we can choose a different way to react, a different perspective, and not get caught in the whirlpool of suffering. Imagine standing in the midst of a great storm. The wind howls through the leaves, driving heavy raindrops that strike your face. Lightning splits the sky, illuminating the dark night with brilliant flashes. In that moment, you become acutely aware of your smallness before the vast power of nature, and you realize that stopping the storm is beyond your control. However, there is one thing you can control: your own reaction. The storms of life represent the difficulties, challenges, and adversities that each of us must face. These might be failures at work, conflicts within the family, or the profound sorrow of personal loss. These storms arrive without warning, sweeping away everything we hold dear. So how can we maintain our calm and positive attitude amidst life's tempests? Buddhism, with its profound and wise teachings, offers us effective methods to confront these challenges. First, we must clearly understand that life is inherently impermanent. Everything changes, nothing lasts forever. As the Buddha taught, all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. Once we grasp this truth, we will no longer cling to external conditions, knowing that whether good or bad, all things are temporary. A well-known story illustrating this lesson is that of a king and a ring inscribed with the words, "This too shall pass." Facing sorrowful events, the king found solace and peace by remembering this phrase. Interestingly, even during moments of joy, he reminded himself that such happiness was also fleeting. This understanding helped him maintain balance, neither sinking into despair nor being ensnared by ephemeral joy. The ability to control our response to events is the key to overcoming difficulties. While we cannot change circumstances, we can choose how we react. A tranquil and steady mind enables us to perceive situations more clearly, without being swept away by negative emotions. Buddhism teaches that to achieve calmness and positivity, we must practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is not something distant or complicated, it is simply the act of focusing on the present moment. When we live mindfully, we realize that worries about the future and regrets about the past are unnecessary. The present moment is all we have, and concentrating on it brings peace to our hearts. Another lesson from Buddhism that helps us maintain calm in life's storms is compassion. Cultivating compassion allows us to face difficulties with an open and loving heart. Rather than resenting our fate, we become grateful for challenges, as they help us grow and strengthen. Furthermore, Buddhism encourages us to practice letting go. Letting go does not mean giving up on everything but releasing our attachment to external conditions. By letting go of desires, cravings, and attachments, we feel lighter and freer. This is the path to liberation and peace. In today's modern world, these lessons are more crucial than ever. With the fast-paced lifestyle, work pressures, and complex relationships, we are easily caught up in a whirlwind of anxiety, stress, and exhaustion. Buddhist teachings, though thousands of years old, retain their value and relevance to contemporary life. They help us not only endure life's storms but also find ways to transcend and discover true happiness. Ask yourself, when was the last time you felt overwhelmed by pressure and stress? How did you respond? If you could apply Buddhist teachings to your daily life, would it change the way you face difficulties? Start by practicing mindfulness, compassion, and letting go. These are the keys to finding inner peace and maintaining positivity amid life's challenges. In Buddhist teachings, impermanence, anicca, is one of the core principles, illustrating that all phenomena are in constant flux, with nothing remaining forever. This concept reminds us that everything is subject to change, and nothing is permanent. A deep understanding of impermanence helps us live more mindfully, reducing attachment and suffering. The story of the king and the ring bearing the message, "This too shall pass," vividly illustrates the principle of impermanence. When faced with sorrowful events, the king sought advice from wise sages. The ring he received, inscribed with a brief but profound message, became a valuable reminder. It not only helped him endure difficult times but also prevented him from being lost in moments of greatest joy. Through this, the king learned to maintain inner balance amidst life's ups and downs. Delving deeper, impermanence not only pertains to the external changes of phenomena but also to the continuous transformation within the human mind. Our minds, like waves on the ocean, are always fluctuating in response to emotions, thoughts, and varying circumstances. By understanding impermanence, we learn to face everything with greater equanimity, avoiding the whirlpool of pleasure and pain, joy and sorrow. The principle of impermanence also brings us freedom. When we realize that nothing is eternal, we find it easier to let go of attachments, living more lightly and serenely. In daily life, this can be applied by accepting change as an inevitable part of existence. When confronted with loss, instead of complaining or resenting it, we should recognize that everything arises from causes and conditions, and change is unavoidable. Another aspect of impermanence is the reminder of life's transitory nature. We often forget that life is finite and that time is the most precious asset each person possesses. Understanding impermanence helps us value each present moment, live more meaningfully, and waste less time on trivialities. It also encourages us to cherish our relationships, knowing that people and circumstances can leave us at any moment. In the context of modern society, pressures from work, family, and social obligations often make us forget the impermanent nature of all things. We easily become entangled in the cycle of success and failure, rejoicing when we achieve our goals and feeling dejected when we fail. But if we remember that everything is temporary, we will no longer place undue importance on outcomes, instead focusing on the process, finding peace and joy in the journey itself. The Buddha taught that awareness of impermanence is the first step on the path to enlightenment. When we understand that all things change, we no longer cling to external conditions for happiness. Instead, we turn inward, seeking peace and liberation within our own minds. Furthermore, impermanence offers us opportunities for learning and growth. Because everything changes, nothing is fixed. Each difficulty or failure brings valuable lessons. By approaching everything with an open mind, we can see that even in adversity, there are opportunities for growth and self-improvement. Overall, the principle of impermanence is not merely a philosophical concept but a way of living. It teaches us to view life with acceptance and equanimity, helping us live a more meaningful and peaceful existence. Remember, no matter how tumultuous life may become, everything will pass, and recognizing this truth can help us find serenity within. Mindfulness, or sati, is one of the most important practices in Buddhist teachings, taught by the Buddha as a means to help individuals achieve liberation from suffering. This concept is not merely a psychological state but a way of life, a profound and authentic way of perceiving and experiencing reality. Delving deeper, mindfulness is not simply an awareness of the present moment but a process of non-judgmental observation. When practicing mindfulness, we learn to observe our thoughts, emotions, and sensations objectively, without getting caught up in them. For example, when anger arises, a mindful practitioner does not let themselves be controlled by the anger but instead clearly recognizes, "This is anger," and then seeks to let it go. In Buddhism, mindfulness is practiced in various forms, from meditation, mindful walking, and mindful eating, to mindful working. All these practices aim to help individuals become more aware of each moment of life, thereby reducing stress, anxiety, and finding inner peace. A crucial aspect of mindfulness is the practice of full presence in every activity. This means paying attention not only to significant events but also to the small, everyday details. For instance, when washing dishes, we don't just wash the dishes but feel each movement of our hands, each drop of water, and each sound of the dishes. In this way, every daily activity becomes an opportunity to practice mindfulness, allowing us to live more fully and consciously. Mindfulness also helps us better understand the nature of the mind and its habitual patterns of thought. In a mindful state, we can recognize negative tendencies in our thinking, such as worry, resentment, or attachment. When we become aware of these thoughts, we can choose not to let them control us but instead let them go, creating a clearer and more peaceful mind. Another vital aspect of mindfulness is the ability to face suffering without avoidance or resistance. In life, we inevitably encounter moments of suffering, failure, or loss. Mindfulness teaches us to face these sufferings courageously and calmly. Instead of avoiding or denying them, we learn to accept and engage with them, discovering valuable lessons and growth from these experiences. Moreover, mindfulness enhances our relationships with others. As we practice mindfulness, we become more sensitive to the emotions and needs of others, thereby expressing greater empathy and compassion. Mindfulness helps us listen to others more deeply, not just with our ears but with our hearts, fostering genuine and meaningful relationships. In the context of modern society, where individuals face numerous pressures and stress, mindfulness becomes an effective method to alleviate stress and restore balance in life. Numerous scientific studies have shown that mindfulness can improve mental and physical health, reduce anxiety and depression, and enhance concentration. However, mindfulness is not a quick fix or a tool to achieve specific goals. Practicing mindfulness requires patience, perseverance, and dedication. It is not a state we can achieve once and for all, but a continuous process, an ongoing journey of discovery and growth. In summary, mindfulness is a profound and meaningful practice in Buddhist teachings, helping us live more consciously, become more aware of ourselves and the world around us, and find peace and happiness in each moment of life. Through mindfulness practice, we can learn to face life's challenges with equanimity and compassion, creating a more meaningful and serene life. Compassion, known as karuna in Pali, is considered one of the most essential and beautiful teachings of Buddhism. It is not merely about pity but involves a profound empathy for the suffering of others, coupled with a desire to act to alleviate that suffering. Compassion is one of the four immeasurables, Brahmaviharas, which include loving kindness, metta, compassion, karuna, sympathetic joy, mudita, and equanimity, upekkha. These are the four sublime states of mind that the Buddha taught to help individuals transcend suffering and attain liberation. When we speak of compassion in the context of Buddhism, it extends beyond mere empathy for others' pain. It also involves a willingness to act to reduce that pain. This means that compassion is not a passive state but a powerful motivator for action for the benefit of others. The Buddha taught that by practicing compassion, we not only help others but also liberate ourselves from the chains of anger, envy, and other negative emotions. A crucial aspect of compassion is the ability to perceive suffering not only from a personal standpoint but also from a broader perspective of interconnectedness among all beings. This is reflected in the concept of dependent origination, pratitya samutpada, which posits that all phenomena do not exist independently but depend on multiple factors. Through this understanding, we realize that the suffering of others is also our suffering, as we are all part of a common community, and each person's happiness or suffering impacts others. Compassion is also closely linked to the concept of positivity in Buddhism. Here, positivity is not just an optimistic attitude but the ability to maintain a pure and unshaken mind, regardless of external circumstances. When we cultivate compassion, we foster a state of inner peace and tranquility, undisturbed by negative emotions such as anger or jealousy. This enables us to face life's challenges with greater calmness and wisdom. It is important to note that compassion does not imply passive acceptance of everything. On the contrary, compassion can lead to decisive actions to protect others and ourselves from suffering. The Buddha not only taught about compassion but also encouraged his disciples to take actions to alleviate the suffering of all beings, whether through aiding the poor, protecting the environment, or standing against social injustices. Moreover, compassion helps us develop patience and tolerance. As we practice compassion, we learn to accept others with all their flaws and mistakes. This does not mean condoning wrongful actions but recognizing that everyone has their own struggles and deserves empathy and forgiveness. Thus, compassion becomes the foundation for harmony and unity in society. In practicing compassion, we also learn how to transform suffering into joy and happiness. When we help others overcome their suffering, we not only bring joy to them but also experience profound joy ourselves from our acts of kindness. This aligns with one of the fundamental principles of Buddhism: true happiness comes not from receiving but from giving. Ultimately, compassion is a path to enlightenment. The Buddha taught that when we cultivate perfect compassion, we transcend all suffering and attain complete liberation. Compassion is not only a moral virtue but also a practical path leading to enlightenment. By nurturing compassion in every action, word, and thought, we can progress on the path to liberation and bring benefits not only to ourselves but to all beings. Thus, compassion is not merely a philosophical concept but a practical practice that can be applied in everyday life. By nurturing compassion, we can approach life with an open heart, recognizing the deep interconnectedness of all people and things, and thereby lead a more meaningful and peaceful life. The teachings of impermanence, mindfulness, and compassion are not just abstract concepts for contemplation but are vibrant practices that can be applied to every moment of our lives. When we truly understand and implement these lessons, life becomes lighter, our hearts achieve peace, and we become a source of tranquility for ourselves and those around us. Impermanence, anicca, forms the foundation of understanding that everything in life is transient. This teaches us to let go of attachments, as anything we cling to will inevitably change over time. By deeply recognizing impermanence, we learn to accept the changes in life, without excessive suffering from loss or overexcitement from gain. Practicing awareness of impermanence helps us maintain balance and peace of mind, even when faced with significant or minor life events. Mindfulness, sati, or awareness, is the ability to live in the present, fully aware of what is happening within our body and mind without being swept away by thoughts and emotions. Mindfulness enables us to perceive reality clearly, free from illusions or biases. Living mindfully frees us from being dominated by the past or anxious about the future. Every action, word, and thought becomes meaningful and filled with positive energy. Mindfulness helps us stay calm and clear-headed, even in the most challenging situations. Compassion, karuna, is the heartfelt sympathy for the suffering of others, accompanied by a desire to act to alleviate that suffering. Compassion is not just empathy but a powerful force driving us to act for the benefit of others. When compassion is nurtured, we not only perceive others' pain but also feel a profound connection among all beings. Compassion enables us to live a more meaningful life, bringing joy and peace to ourselves and our community. When we integrate these three lessons, impermanence, mindfulness, and compassion, into our daily lives, we become a beacon of light amidst life's storms. This represents a profound inner transformation, allowing us to face every circumstance with tranquility, unaffected by external upheavals. Imagine a day when you practice these lessons. In the morning, as you wake up, you spend a few minutes reflecting on life's impermanence, reminding yourself that today is a precious gift, and nothing is permanent. You become acutely aware of each breath, each movement as you wash your face, and eat breakfast. Every small action is performed with mindfulness, free from anxiety or tension. At work, you approach challenges with calmness and clarity. When difficulties arise, instead of reacting negatively, you pause to practice mindfulness, recognizing your emotions and responding with awareness. You do not get caught in a spiral of stress and worry but maintain inner peace. In your interactions with others, you practice compassion by listening and empathizing with their struggles. You listen not just with your ears but with your heart, ready to help when needed. Your presence becomes a source of peace and positivity for those around you. You not only maintain calmness and positivity for yourself but also spread it to your community. By embracing impermanence, practicing mindfulness, and radiating compassion, we not only keep ourselves grounded but also create positivity for ourselves and those around us. These are not mere lessons for superficial contemplation but vibrant practices that can profoundly transform our lives. Start this journey today, to become a source of peace amidst life's storms. At the end of this journey, each of us should reflect on our lives and ask whether we have truly lived with mindfulness, compassion, and an understanding of impermanence. Life, despite its storms, is but a brief journey in this transient world. Live each day meaningfully, so that not only do we find peace ourselves but also spread it to everyone around us. Let us embark on a new journey together, a journey of awakening, compassion, and inner peace. Each step on this journey is an opportunity to grow, to love, and to live a fulfilling life. Let the teachings of Buddhism be not just a guiding light but also a valuable companion that helps us steadfastly navigate all paths of life. In the evening, before going to sleep, you spend a few minutes practicing gratitude, recalling the good things that happened during the day and giving thanks for the lessons life has brought. You remind yourself of impermanence, mindfulness, and compassion, and resolve to continue practicing these lessons tomorrow.